Right, so as people are entering from the waiting room, we'll just maybe say a quick hello. I'm Jennifer Keene. I'm the Dean of Wilkinson College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. I am also an historian, so I work in my faculty life on the First World War and was a longtime chair of the history department. I've been at Chapman for nearly 17 years. Hard to believe it's been that long. So I've seen Chapman go through a lot of changes. And I've been dean for a year and a half now. And I certainly picked my moment, didn't I, of when I went to become a dean. It's been an interesting year, but we've got a lot of really great, exciting developments that are occurring in Wilkinson College that we're very excited to share with you today. And I'm going to be joined by Erin Burton. So Erin, you want to introduce yourself really quickly to everybody?
Sure. Hi, I'm Erin Burton. I am the Wilkinson College Career Advisor. I've been here for 5 years, but I've been in this role for the last 2. I love what I do, and I can't wait to tell you exactly what we've been doing over the last year.
Yeah, great. So what we thought we would do, this is going to be a small sort of, informal conversation with you all. And what we thought we would do is I am actually going to share a very short PowerPoint with you, go over some of the highlights of the year in terms of initiatives that we've had going on and the exciting developments. Then we're going to switch to Erin. Erin's going to talk a little bit about her role as the Wilkinson Career Advisor. And then we'll open it up and just have a conversation, answering your questions, and hopefully you'll leave feeling that you have a better understanding of what your student is experiencing here. So we have the chat open. So as we go, if you have questions or comments, definitely feel free to place them in the chat, or you can wait till the end and ask your questions, make your comments verbally in person. That seems like a funny thing to be saying right now. And then along the way, Mary Shockey, who's also here from the Dean's staff, our development coordinator. Mary can wave to everybody. Is going to be posting some information and some links of things that I'm going to be mentioning. Okay, so let me go ahead, and this is always the most fraught moment here where I'm going to share my screen really quickly with you. And yeah. So the first thing that I want to say and welcome you to Wilkinson College is to call your attention to the tagline, Heart and Soul of the University. This is a tagline that we adopted last year when we were really trying to define the place of Wilkinson College at Chapman University. And we love this tagline because we feel that it really encompasses 3 really significant aspects of what makes Wilkinson College such a unique entity at Chapman University. Heart and Soul first conveys the reality, the historic reality of Wilkinson College, which really was the liberal arts core of Chapman College for so long. When I came to Chapman, Wilkinson College was the School of Arts and Sciences. Obviously, you can see how we've grown over time at Chapman, but we still do represent, in a sense, the sort of historic heart of Chapman College and now university. We also like to refer to ourselves as the heart and soul of the university because we are a college that plays a unique role in the education of every Chapman student. We don't just provide courses, mentoring, and career advice to our majors and minors, but in fact, we have nearly every student who attends university who comes through our courses in one form or the other. And in that way, we really touch every student here. And then the third way in terms of the heart and soul of the university, and this is going to tie into some of the things I'm going to talk about next, the disciplines that we represent are really essential to understanding our core humanity. These are the disciplines that help us understand who we've been, who we are, and where we want to go. And in that sense, we also have a unique responsibility to lead the conversation and to be impacting the world around us. And we know that we are training the future leaders of the world, and we take that really seriously. And we feel that we have a mission to ensure that the centrality and the significance of the art, humanities, and social sciences remains properly understood and in the forefront of everybody's minds. So we do become a little preachy about this, but we feel that it's an important message that we need to get out. So it's hard. We have the heart and soul, and we feel it encapsulates a lot of who we are, but we're also, in a sense, hard to nail down because we're so many different things. And when we were trying to envision how we would really represent the college, we felt that it was more than just the sum of the names of our departments or even our minors. So we came up last year with this word cloud, and I always love to display it and to talk about it because it came out of the work of one of our graphic design students who, when we had turned to our ideation lab in our graphic design program and asked them to come up with some kind of image that would really convey what the college was all about, one of our students conceptualized this word cloud, and she did it by taking speeches or the talks that I had given and words that I kept saying and put it together in this just really fantastic graphic design element. So I love to talk about it because I think it just shows all of the intellectual activity that's going on within the college, but at the same time, the way that we have a unique relationship with our students and really are providing them with opportunities to shape who we are. And besides getting, of course, the professional experience of actually making a design that we replicate quite often. Okay, so moving along here, I hope that all of you are receiving the We Are Wilkinson monthly newsletter. This is a newsletter that we started last year, and in this, it's a way for us to really communicate directly with you on a monthly basis so that you're able to understand a lot of the key activities, a lot of the key achievements. We invite you to events. The events that we put into the monthly newsletter are events that we really are encouraging our parents and also our alumni to attend. And if for some reason you're not getting the monthly newsletter, let us know and we'll definitely get you on the mailing list. But we feel like it's a really important way for us to be communicating with you, not just waiting for once a year in Parent Summit, but on a monthly basis to really reach out to you and let you know what's going on. I'm not going to read this list to you. You can read. I just wanted to kind of put it up because we shared this with the faculty. We share it with the faculty every semester to let them know sort of what our larger community is really interested in hearing about. These were our top stories from the newsletter, basically the stories that got the most clicks. And some of these things I was super happy to see people really gravitating towards. We're very proud of the fact that this year we welcomed in one of our most diverse groups of new faculty ever. And this is an important way that Wilkinson is contributing to the university's diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative. And then we have some great ways that our students are working in journalism with the Voice of Orange County, a nonprofit newsletter. And you can see, again, if you look down here, the ways students are combining research, the publications that they're involved in. Another graphic design student who helped a business in Little Tokyo sort of do a fundraiser with some merchandise that he designed. And the last one here, Career Corner, Erin always has a story in the monthly newsletter about how students or alumni have been parlaying their degrees into actual career opportunities. And I'm going to be very honest with you. I was surprised that the most popular one in the fall was the one about what to do with a major or minor in philosophy. So that was really eye-opening to me that so many people were really thinking about philosophy as something they were interested in. So that was pretty cool. If you've been getting the newsletter, you've also been aware of the fact that one of the things that we've been very engaged in this semester is launching our Engaging the World, Leading the Conversation initiative. And this is an initiative that is a multi-year plan. And the idea here is, again, to kind of fit with that first thing I started with, the necessity for us to be underscoring our centrality and our relevance to the daily world by leading the conversation on important social justice issues that our country is facing. Now, interestingly, I don't think it's hard for anybody here to appreciate that the theme, the significance of race, obviously resonated with a lot of what was happening out in our country and in the broader world this year. But to be honest, we picked the theme actually well before June. We picked it because we were launching the Africana minor this year, and we wanted something that connected to the curriculum. But as you can imagine, because of the theme, it really resonated, and we found that there was an incredible demand for conversation around the significance of race. And so what was initially planned, honestly, I honestly mean this, as like a 5 to 6 event series really just exploded. And you can see that what we ended up with was 27 events, which is remarkable. And in part because of the virtual environment that we were all in, we were able to draw probably larger audiences and more participation than we would in a normal year when people would have been required to come on campus. So our largest event drew 750 attendees, which was amazing. It would be difficult for us to get 750 people to actually come to campus for an event. But I think that it really underscored that when it comes to understanding what's going on in our world, we turn to the arts, humanities, and social sciences for those answers. And that was a way that we were able to connect with our students in this virtual learning environment to issues that are very important to them, and help them feel that they were part of a larger community, and really engage them in learning outside of the classroom. And so I think this was a significant experience for many of our students. We did, as part of the initiative, also launch the Africana Studies minor. As I mentioned, we were able to receive some funding to acquire beautiful new works by Southern California Black artists. And we have many of our events were part of a podcast series. So if you're interested, if you weren't able to attend the events, you can either view them as recordings, or if you're a podcast person like I am, we have remarkable interviews with many of our guests that are available to download off of Apple or Spotify here. Okay. Next year, we continue with the Engaging the World initiative. Our theme is changing. The whole concept of this was that we would change our theme every year. So next year, our conversation will be about environmental justice. This is a great partnership that we have with Schmidt College of Science and Technology. We run a joint program with them in environmental science and policy, and we are really putting some new resources into that program. We're right now engaged in hiring 2 new faculty. We really want to increase the visibility of that program. And we know that environmental issues, and especially environmental justice, are also very interesting to our students. And a lot of people are concerned about this. So this will be the programming next year. You'll be seeing invitations to you for events, for lectures. Same thing for podcasts, the same kind of formats. Whether we're doing it virtually part of the year and in person part of the year, we all don't know that answer to that question, but we do know that that we're going to have an equally successful event series next year. So what's next here? There's a few other initiatives I wanted to share with you. We do have an ethnic studies interdisciplinary minor that has just been approved. So that will be coming into the curriculum next year. Next year, we're also continuing our efforts to collaborate with other schools on the campus. And we will be working with especially Crean College, our College of Health Sciences, in crafting a medical humanities interdisciplinary minor. I did just mention how we're building out the environmental science policy program. And the other initiative that we have underway is we're investigating the possibility of creating a 3-3 program with our law school. That's not something that's necessarily help your student if they're a junior or senior, but maybe for some of the first year students, this might be something that comes into place while they're here. Okay. We are also pushing hard into presidential studies. If you listened to the president's State of the University address last week, you heard the good news that our college was the recipient of 2 tremendous gifts that allowed us to establish 2 endowed chairs in presidential studies. And one of those will go to Lori Cox-Hahn, who is a longtime faculty member here at Chapman University, a leading expert in the presidency. You see her a lot on media, in all sorts of media media forms, speaking about the recent election, but also about the presidency in general. And then we will be bringing a new leading expert in the presidency, Luke Nectar. He'll be coming and joining the faculty in August. So this is a great opportunity for us to develop a robust program in presidential studies. We have additional faculty who will join this, and this will be a program that will offer opportunities for students in terms of new curriculum, but also in terms of research devoted to understanding the presidency and its relevance, policy applications. And so we look forward to this offering yet another exciting arena of internships and extracurricular learning and career possibilities for our students. So that will be coming next year there. We finally, we do have, in terms of new initiatives, we've created a Wilkinson College Parents Council, and this is an endeavor to try to pull together some parents who have a passion for helping our students on their path of career readiness. One of the challenges we often face is continuing to find new opportunities for internships and experiential learning opportunities. We have to network. Erin does an amazing amount of networking with our alumni and with some of our parents to find these opportunities for our students. We want to sort of systematize it a little bit and bring together a group of interested parents who could help us really build that out. Now, along the lines of career readiness and thinking about that age-old question that I always get asked and that I have to answer, which is, what is the value of a degree in the arts, humanities, and social sciences? And I don't want to talk the whole hour. I could easily talk an hour to you about this, but what I will just say is that data never backs up the claim that you're destined to a life of poverty and unemployment if you major in the arts, humanities, and social sciences. Data definitely backs up the claim that you will succeed in your career. Your salary trajectory, your income, your projected income is similar to students who are in other pre-professional programs. And of course, you as parents, I'm a parent of a Chapman student as well, you always want your child to be happy, to be passionate about what they're studying, and to lead a fulfilling life. And that's where I feel at this quote that we often refer to from Maya Angelou, you can only become truly accomplished at something you love, is really a motto for life. And finally, we certainly have much to claim when it comes to the ways in which we are teaching exactly those career readiness skills that employers, when they're surveyed, signal are important to them. Critical thinking, teamwork, professionalism, communication skills, the ability to use digital technology, leadership, and some global multicultural fluency. All of these things are the tools that students will need as they go out into the world. We are not the only disciplines that teach these by any means, but we do teach them very well. I love this statistic here that 85% of the jobs that we will see in the future have not yet been invented. We have learned, I think, in a very clear way this year that we cannot predict the future, that the ability to be flexible and innovative and to be risk-taking these are the keys to success. And these are the things that we inculcate in our students and we really support. And so our students who will become graduated adults will need to be the big thinkers. They will need to be the paradigm shifters. They will need to be the innovators. And that happens through intellectual curiosity and the kind of critical thinking skills that our college and our discipline imbues our students with. So having said all of that, I'm now going to turn the microphone over to Erin, and Erin's going to say a little bit more about some of the specifics of how we support students when it comes to career readiness. And I am going to stop sharing my screen. There we go.
Okay, and I'll probably share my screen. Hey
Yeah.
everybody, welcome. And I'm not quite sure if some of you came last year or not, but if you did, I have some of the same stuff to say, but I actually added more. And if you're new, enjoy. So here we go. I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, so from the beginning. Okay. All right, so it's me. I'm Erin, your career advisor, your students. Moving on. So last year I talked about our engagement of when we were on campus and off campus. So this is when we were all together. When we do go back, what I like to do is I do workshops, in-person workshops about internships, resumes, LinkedIn. Sometimes I do grade specific because I think your first year versus your senior year, everything kind of is a little bit different. I also did, I'm not going to read these like she said you guys can read. We do a lot of like one-on-one classroom visits, networking events, and then some of the stuff off campus that we started to implement was career excursions. This is giving the students more of like a hands-on experience, and it was really fun. I actually went to Hawaii and took students that lived in Hawaii on different excursions, which they ended up getting jobs and internships. So I felt that was a lot more impactful. So I can't wait to get back to all this. But during the pandemic the last year, I really sat back and thought about what has changed in a positive way. And I have to say, the students sitting at home have been more engaging than I've ever seen. My appointments have gone up, more internships than the previous year. And I think that's because the students are like telling me what they're getting versus when we're on campus, they make an appointment, I help them, and then they're gone because they're so social and they have things to do. They don't care about sharing with me. But now that we're home, our engagement is like so high, and they tell me, I got the internship, I got this, you know, because we're on like a one-to-one basis all the time. So I'm really happy about that. And then this year I started this semester, my focus is to do more of alumni industry related events. And I really feel this is important because our alumni give our students a little bit more of like, how can I say this? They're comfortable talking with each other on like when we do a Zoom like event. They feel that their words mean more than me just grabbing some random person from like a different like industry. So it's a little bit more impactful. So I just wanted to tell you about some of the events that I'm going to be doing this spring. We just got done doing an event with an alumni, Nolan Dunbar, who graduated in history, but he's actually the writer for Netflix's Jack Ryan show. And when he came, he talked a lot about, and this, I know there was a question in our chat from one of our parents talking about the self-made major with the CCI, and they have like all different types of ideas and how do you go about that? Well, he did a really good job talking about how he was a history major and how he really wanted to be a writer, but he wasn't a writing major, and he took what he learned from history and is like 100% amazing at his career. So he gave a lot about a talk with that to the students, and it was very impactful. Another one we'll be doing is Peace Corps, FBI, and those will be about the process of learning how to get an internship or if you want to have a career there. And then another one is parents going to give back. He's actually going to come in and talk about public policy and lobbying. He owns his own company in Sacramento, and he's going to do 2 sessions. And I'm really excited because one, it's like meaningful that he's a parent and he wants to give back for one, but also I think he'll have a lot to tell the students, and I already promoted it and the students are very excited. So that's another one. And then in the art area, we're going to do a series of probably 6 different alumni in different areas in the art, whether it's education, museums, or what have you. They're going to come every week and do kind of like a networking on a Friday. So that's something I'm working on. And of course, we have law school info sessions, and those are really good. Those are going through the whole process of how to get into law school. And then we're also going to have alumni come back and talk about how to become a publisher. So these are the things that I'm working on for this spring, which is a lot, but I'm really excited because the student engagement is just way up. So I feel like I thought for sure they'd be zoomed out, but I think they're not, and they're kind of excited about it. So that's kind of my positiveness of the last year. Moving on, this slide I was kind of excited about because I've been here since 2018, and this number has been going up a little bit, but I still think that in the 90s is pretty good. So what happens is when students graduate, they get a phone call, and it's a phone call or an email, and it's a survey, and we don't get the results till the following year. So this is actually a survey from 2019. So I can't wait till this year comes out to see the difference, because things have changed, and I'm hoping the numbers are even higher, just so we can prove that like we made it through the pandemic. But this is experiential learning, which also can mean fellowships. They've done field work, workshops, study abroad, undergraduate research, volunteering. This just shows you that your students are really involved, and this only helps them with their resume and everything else, all their experiences that they're going to get once they graduate and get that career. This slide is, how do I prepare your kids for the next 4 years? Now with this slide, I like to say, like, of course I do all of those things, but I do them differently within the year. So with the first year students, I try to get into the FFC class, which is the first year fundamental class, which is, I get in there and I kind of just tell them about, this is what your resume looks like right now, but this is what it's going to probably look like your senior year. And by having the changes throughout the years, it's all about your involvement, keeping track of all the research you do, put it on your resume. And of course, by your junior, senior year, we really work on networking and LinkedIn and your skills and your interviewing skills. So this is something that I try to work with each student with, and I really do try to reach out to every student so I can at least introduce myself, tell them I'm here for them, and once they graduate, I'm still their career person for life. I see a lot of alumni, and we go back to all this. So things are always changing, and I just think it's great that they have the opportunity to have this kind of resource. What I've done the past year is put together a board like this. So when I do meet a student, I'll just send this over in an email, and just so they can have some really quick places to go. I'm not going to click on all these, but online internship job boards is Handshake for our college. And then of course, LinkedIn. So what I've been doing is I show students, if you're looking for an internship, Handshake's the best place, because sometimes if you go on, let's say Indeed or what have you, you might see a job up there. But as we know, it might be up there, but it's really not during this time still going on because things have changed. So I'm trying to teach the kids how on Handshake, we take things off if they're not valid jobs or internships. So it's really good to go on there, but also go on LinkedIn. So if you find an internship, let's say Disney, for instance, and there's posting all these internships. Well, we know Disney's not really having that right now, but to double check, you can go on LinkedIn, hit Disney, and under Disney on the people, you'll see a lot of alumni. So I tell them, connect with the alumni on there, ask them a question, engage with them. Hey, do you know when internships are going to happen again? How's it going during the past year? Just questions to get them to be engaging, because it's all about being able to network while we're at home and doing something a little extra that will make you stand out over anybody else. So I try to encourage them to put these together. Right here, I am gonna click on this and hopefully it works. But this is kind of a neat place where it's live, so it's constantly going on. And down here is a place, so if they say, oh, I wanna work, I found a job, I'm gonna look it up. You can put it in the search button and it will say hiring, layoff, hiring freeze. Sometimes you'll be confused because you'll see something like this that says hiring freeze and then hiring. Well, maybe in that company, maybe in the business office, they're hiring, but everywhere else, they're not hiring. So it's kind of like one of those things you just want to double check it. But what is really great is when I first got this was all red last March, and it was so sad. I was like, oh my God. But now I'm seeing, look at this, it's like fantastic. And this goes on forever. Then down here, if you scroll down more, industries with the most hiring freezes and layoffs, this used to be all red. So to me, I see hope, right? And for having the students have this, it gets them a little excited, and then they can do their own research as well. That's just something that I kind of, hold on, back to this, okay. And then also, interview stream or remote. This is another place on Handshake. So say they're interested in nothing in humanities, social sciences, but they have a minor, say, in computer science. I did put a bunch of resources on Handshake that computer science or engineers might find other jobs on a different site. So that's also in there. The next steps is an interview stream. This is something we rolled out during this year. I'm not going to click it, but when I meet with students, I really press the whole idea that you really need to work on a skill. One of your skills should be interviewing, because you're going to get an internship or you're going to get a job. You're going to be sitting at home. So why not just be confident at that interview? So on there, it's me giving the interview. So they can click on education. So it'll be me giving like 5 like random questions about education, or even general, like for an entry-level job. So they'll answer the questions, it records them, it gives them an email back, and it shows them the video. And it's really strange, but I did it. And the first time I did it, I noticed that I was looking down a lot because I was looking at my resume or my questions I was going to ask. So then I was like, oh, I'll put my questions around my computer screen. So just these little details make a big difference. Oh, my lighting's off, you know, like just stuff like that. Or I said, every single time I answered a question. So if you can become really comfortable with interviewing, I feel like when you do have that interview for an internship or a job, you might just like show up a little bit better than the other person. So I really encourage that. And then also LinkedIn Learning is free through Chapman. I tell the students, log in through Chapman, use your credentials, learn a skill you are at home. I learned Photoshop from it, and I've learned some graphic design just to make sure that my job is even like I can do my job better. And I tell the students all the time, if you see something on a job that you're like, I can't add that to my resume, I don't have that skill. Like say for instance, Excel. Well, go on LinkedIn Learning and take a class and learn, and then add it to your resume. It's as easy as that. So I'm hoping they're all doing a little of that at home, because I really encourage it. And then of course, internships, if you want to study out of the US, or there's even some home, we have another place. And then also the last one I'm going to show you, students can go to Wilkinson's page, and I have my own little page here where I have templates. And then if you want to go to your program specific, let's just say sociology. In this page, it will talk about, you know, possible occupations. So say they're just like in that major and they're like, I don't know what I want to do. Well, they can go look on here and you can see all the different things. So then you're like, want to dive a little deeper. Let's just say, for instance, I'm going to do writer. Let's see how they connect. Well, then in here, it just keeps going on and on and on. It talks about like maybe the pay, what you need, and then you can start looking for other resources, because there'll be other places that actually have job opportunities as well. So there's that. Then hold on, here we go. How can you help me? Just like Dr. Keene said, you can give back if you feel like I need an intern, come to us, we will find you one. If you want to do a presentation in a class, or if you want to give me some ideas, if you say, you know, it'd really cool if you have this kind of speaker, I am so up to have you guys tell me what to do and give me your ideas and thoughts. But also, you know, if you need an intern, or if you have a position available for a graduate, I can actually, you know, promote it and get you resumes and all that great stuff. And that's it. Here's my email. Feel free to email me anytime and ask questions. I really do enjoy all the students, and thank you. That's all I have. And I probably rambled, but that's what I do. I ramble.
All right. Thanks, Erin. That was great. I was taking notes. My son's not in Wilkinson, so I have to get all the tips from you for how to tell him what to do here. So we do have some questions in the chat, so we'll go through those questions, and then if you want to add some new ones, that's great. Or you turn off your microphone and ask them in person. We're happy to take them either way. So this is from Erica Couch. So about the self-designed major in CCI. Maybe that's for you, Erin. Maybe you can help with that one. Yeah.
So this is a great question, because I'm telling you, the last year when I see students, a lot of students are like, I really love my minor, or I really love my interdisciplinary. So they want to explore a little bit more. I tell them, you need to get an internship in what you're thinking about. Yeah, maybe your major is business, but go get your internship in something that's CCI related, something that could be more entertainment. And then you'll eventually like kind of figure out your way and see how you can relate that all to each other. This is something that every single time I meet a student, I'm telling you, this is our conversation. So when we're together, I'll explore on Handshake. There's a way it already calculates your major, but then there's a search button on there. I say, let's put something that you're interested in. So let's say, for instance, business, and then let's say photography or podcast. We could put that in there, and then it shows you all the internships that are around that. So you can kind of like find your own kind of niche that way. I don't know. I think I love it. I love all this stuff. So I hope that answers your question. Other employment support. Doc and Arduous both have a career person as well. Arduous is they come over to me sometimes because they are just so busy because they kind of have their own career center. But Dodge does a lot of alumni events too. So I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Well, yes. Well, we'll hope so.
Yeah.
All right. So Brian was asking about a first year, has a daughter who's a freshman who's been at home. I have to say we feel for all our students in this remote learning environment, but none more than our first year students who've never had a chance to come to campus and really experience, just everything we have to offer at Chapman here. In terms of when we're able to have, resume in-person learning and be back on campus, we will absolutely be reaching out to those students who will by then be sophomores, but to give them an extra special welcome to the college and to their departments and to their program. It's very difficult for us at this particular moment to plan out what that would look like because we still don't know, obviously, what is going to be possible in the fall. Even some of the plans for commencement have been looking to the summer and to, restrictions on how many people are going to be allowed to gather at one time. So we will have to kind of wait on the specifics until we know when, we know what we're green lighted to do. But there is no doubt that they're going to feel our love because we're really feeling that these students need to kind of pack it all into 3 years in terms of the on-campus living experience, and we want to be sure that they have that. Yeah, okay, so hopefully that answers your question. Oh, my favorite question, is there an Instagram page or Facebook page? Yes.
Yes.
We are very active on social media. We have weekly social media meetings in the dean's office, and we have some student workers actually who work with us on social media, so they keep us on our toes in terms of making sure that we learn that old dogs learn new tricks, so to speak, in terms of social media. So we do have an Instagram page and a Facebook page. I will say that we use them differently. So sometimes we cross post things, but Instagram, we do aim primarily at the students because that's kind of where they gravitate to for their information. And we think of Facebook more for our alums and parents. But having said that, we do a lot with both, and so that's Instagram. Really, every day we have stuff that we're pumping out. So maybe Mary, if you have a chance, you can post in the chat what the handles are for those two pages here. Okay.
I think Heather's question, you can correct me, but I think the one for adding a minor goes through academic advising. Right?
Yeah, so this is a question actually that we get a lot. There is sometimes some confusion on students' parts about who a career advisor is versus an academic advisor. And the academic advisors, we do have a counseling center, academic advising center, on campus where the college has dedicated advisors for the college. And in the weekly newsletter that the students get, that information is always there. We always tell them, and where there's a big box on the weekly newsletter called our weekly newsletter is the Week in Wilkinson, and it says how to find your program advisor. And it lists all the information about how to find your program advisor. So I would really encourage your student to go to that and then to connect with the advising center, with his advisor in Wilkinson, who can then connect him with the advisor in Dodge. Usually for the minors, it's just a matter of going to the registrar's office and filling out a request to add the minor. Certainly for our minors, it's true. I can't answer specifically for Dodge because sometimes programs are impacted and they restrict the number of students who can come into the program, or they have prerequisites that students have to complete before they can actually sign up for it. So my suggestion in terms of first stop is to go to the Week in Wilkinson, find the program advisor in the advising center, ask that person who to connect to in Dodge. I know I'm giving you a little circuitous route here, but I think then that way he'll get to the right person in terms of adding that. Okay. All right. My daughter is also a freshman, has been just saying, sorry.
It's for me, I think.
Oh yeah, that's you. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So our first year students, before I'd be like, oh, just enjoy your first year, get to know it, take it all in, and then you're going to figure it out. But now we're all home, I say go for it. There's a lot of remote jobs on there. She can reach out to me and we can have a little Zoom meeting. We can meet each other. I like to be like a mentor to our first year students and help guide them. So she can plan for it now if she wants. If school's too much, then I say maybe wait for your sophomore year. But if she's up to it, we can definitely help her find an internship. So let her know.
Yeah, and I think that also one of the great things that Erin does is by going into first year foundations classes, to encouraging students to begin working on resumes at the very, very beginning of college, because even just by beginning to put it together, you realize what you don't have to put on there, and wow, what should I be thinking about doing over the next few years so that I can build this out? And like you said, sort of what does it look like the first year versus what do you want to have it look like the fourth year? And I think one of the Erin, you can correct me, but I think one of the key things you tell the students is that anything you did in high school, like it's gone, like it doesn't matter anymore. You're starting with a clean slate. And a lot of things that your projects you're working on in class, I mean, if you're that you may not think are relevant to put on a professional resume, but actually are, because they show projects you've done and accomplishments. There's a whole range of things that by meeting one-on-one with Erin, a student in a conversation, a student's able to realize, oh, this is actually a pretty significant thing I should tell a potential employer about.
I also think at their senior year, when I'm like, write it all down, it becomes like their book. Sometimes it's like 3 pages, but I'm like, take a look at it. You should be so proud of yourself. You have to reflect back and see everything you've done. And then from that, we start making 1-page resumes based on, different areas, but it's really kind of cool to keep track of it all.
Yeah. Okay, so we have a study abroad geared for Wilkinson English and creative writing students. So as you can probably tell, we've been pretty limited for the moment in terms of putting out study abroad classes for this summer, again, with the big question mark about whether or not we're going to be able to go. We do have a regular travel class that usually goes in interterm, and that's a class by Justin Vandermeter, and it's with Julie Bidney. These are 2 faculty members we have that actually focuses on Harry Potter. So it's a super cool class. A lot of English majors love this class, and but they go in January traditionally each year. So that's one that we have as a kind of regular offering. But most of the other study abroad classes that we have are not just geared for majors. They're really open to any interested student. It depends on the class, of course, but that's one that we're not able to run this interterm, but I know we are planning to run it next interterm. But it goes to England, so you can see all the things that we have to have clarified in terms of being able to have that class go. But that would be something definitely to look forward to if your student was interested in that.
And Brian, you should follow on, if you have an Instagram, you can follow this. I think it's Chapman Global. They post things all the time, right? Like they posted today, one of our our classes. So you can follow there and get information too.
Right. And the other a good idea could be for the student to reach out to the chair of the English department, Joanna Levin, to ask, because she would have the best idea in terms of what might be planned in the future, because each department plans its own courses for the upcoming year. And this, if there was another class, let's say not this summer, but next summer, that the English department was planning on, this would be a good way to kind of get a heads up on that. Great. Anything else? Hopefully we've been answering questions correctly or with enough.
I have a personal question. I'll ask it. I answer it later. Yes, it's being recorded, right?
Yes, I think we said that already.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, thanks. There, Mary just put the English website up, English department website up. So that's
And
great.
if you're wanting to know where our Instagram is, you can just put Wilkinson College and it should pop right up. And then as the same thing for Facebook, it's just our name. So yeah, I'm excited.
Great. All right. Does anybody have any other questions? Go ahead, Mary.
I'm going to interject here. Just if anybody is interested about commencement and the latest information on there, I wanted to let you know that the website is up to date and live. And if I have any senior parents here, there is a link in there that you can get regalia, because some parents still want to take their senior pictures for their child. There will be a commencement. We're hoping in August. It's not May, it's not the traditional, but because of COVID, we have to make sure we're in the tier of being able to have more than 200 people at an event. So you still want to get your regalia for the future. And I am going to post that link in the chat as well for you.
Great. All right, thanks for that, Mary. I think that's always something. Again, we live in a world where we just go in month increments, sort of look 4 weeks ahead and think we know what's going to happen. But I will say that the college has been really adept at the pivot to remote learning, and it was very chaotic, obviously, for us just about a year ago when we had less than 24 hours notice for everybody, to make that adjustment. But in so many ways, the students have been just unbelievably responsive. And I think that the faculty put in a lot of hard work over the summer to gain a skill set that most people did not previously have. And it's been a kind of new frontier for all of us together. But we've been really thankful that I think our Wilkinson community has remained strong and cohesive throughout this. And it'll be just wonderful when we're back together in person. But as a dean, the most important thing for me perhaps to convey to you is that we have not lost any ground in our college. We have been able to keep innovating and progressing. I think a lot of the new skills and kind of events that we had to innovate are actually things we're talking about continuing in some respects, because they became new ways to communicate and form community. And so that, not to look for a silver lining in the pandemic, but I think in some ways there was one. So if there are no more questions, I just would say thanks so much for taking the time to meet with us today. We really appreciate it. We appreciate your students. We appreciate your support. And I think we'll probably be reaching out to you, Erin will in particular, to be seeing if you do have any ways in which you think you could help us in our.
And they could come to the lounge at 3 too.
That's right. Sorry, I forgot. That's right. That's right. More Erin.
Bring me coffee, please. Just kidding.
Yes, more Erin. And then yeah, but also to just in terms of ways that you might be able to be part of this, the networking that we're trying to construct, that would be amazing. Great. All right. Well, otherwise, I'll just say thanks again and let everybody get on with their day.
Thank you.
Bye.